Today, we will crown our first men's titleist of this PBA season. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson back with you from the inaugural World Series of Bowling. Today, it's the Motor City Championship, and the field, probably the strongest Final Five we've seen on the men's side in years.
Yeah, combined 103 titles and 18 majors for 4 of the 5 finalists. That other finalist, Bill O'Neill, has never won. In fact, he made 7 telecasts last season without a win. So in order for Bill O'Neill to win today, it's kind of like a David and Goliath scenario. He's going to have to beat Tommy Jones, Pete Weber, Chris Barnes, and the great Walter Ray to win his first ever title.
The Motor City Open, 103 titles.
What a season Bill O'Neill had. He ranked in the top 10 in earnings, average, and points. The only thing eluding him, a victory.
The number 4 qualifier owns 12 titles, including 2 majors. He bowled a 300 man in the position round to propel himself into this field. 5'6", Player of the Year from Simpsonville, South Carolina, Tommy Jones.
Tommy Jones trying to get some love from Bill O'Neill's fiance. Don't think it's going to happen. This former Player of the Year looking to get back on track, pulled a perfect game just to make the telecast.
The number 3 qualifier has won 34 titles, including 8 majors. Second in all-time PBA earnings, over $3 million. Hall of Famer, PTW, Pete Weber.
Greatest physical game the sport has ever known, but PTW's been struggling as of late on television. Can he right the ship today?
The number 2 qualifier waiting in the semifinal match owns 12 titles, including 2 majors. He is the 07-8 Player of the Year from Double Oak, Texas, Chris Barnes.
This former Player of the Year made another run at the Player of the Year honors and came up just a little bit short. In fact, it was a stone 8-pin that kept him from repeating. Can Chris Barnes get off to a hot start today? Let's wait and see.
The tournament leader is going for an unprecedented 46th title. He owns 7 majors. He has 6 Player of the Years, Hall of Famer from Ocala, Florida, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
About the only thing I would change for Walter Ray would be his shirt. I'm not a big fan of the horseshoe and bowling balls, but I am a big fan of this, and he does a lot of it. Nothing but strikes. The guy just keeps getting better with age.
So we begin with Bill O'Neill taking on Tommy Jones. And, what a task ahead of O'Neill. 0 tour titles and nothing but really legends sitting in front of him, including the number 1 seed, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
I've bowled Walter Ray quite a bit in the past year or 2, and he's someone that I really, really like bowling, just because I know he's the greatest, and he elevates my game, because I know I have to be on my A game to beat him. And I've had some good success against him in the last year, and I think it's just due to the fact that I want to beat him so bad, just because it means so much to me every time I beat him.
Well, O'Neill will need 3 victories to earn the privilege to take on Walter Ray Williams Jr. Match number 1. Bill O'Neill, 0 PBA Tour titles, taking on 12-time titleist Tommy Jones. And we talked to Bill O'Neill before this, and I said, hey, what's your goal for this season? Win. Done. Conversation over. That's it. Points average. I did that last year. The goal is to win and then take it from there. Good start to the season, Billy O.
He's got a lot of television experience from last season, and he's just now got to somehow exercise those mental demons, get over the hump, and win.
Only 3 300 games rolled this week out here at the Motor City Open. O'Neill and that man, Tommy Jones, with 2 of them.
A little high there. You can see his ball speed at 19.7, just under 20 miles an hour. The reason for that, a lot of friction on this side of the bowling center. A little older synthetics. Players have to keep the ball speed up to keep it on line.
Made just 2 TV appearances last season, did TJ. So So Jones starts with an open frame. Here's TJ on, was Walter Ray an idol of yours?
No, not really. I mean, I knew who he was, obviously, and it was, you know, he was a legend. But I always wanted to hook it, so for me, it was always Roth and Holman and Pete and those guys. But you can't knock Walter. I mean, it doesn't look very good, but he gets it done all the time, and, you know, there's nothing you can say about it.
All the young players, they want to emulate Tommy Jones and the big hook guys. But Walter Ray and Norm Duke are making all the money throwing it straight. Again, your cat's number computer-aided tracking system. You'll see speed, location throughout the telecast. Brought to you by the Kegel Training Center. Thanks to Kegel for all those numbers.
You see O'Neill's numbers from last season, twice a bridesmaid. Said he lost about 5 pounds or so in the offseason. Can tell his shape is better. Stamina has upped. And that's a big part of the World Series of Bowling. I mean, this is a huge grind for these pros.
It really is a lot of games in a short period of time, and you better be in shape for the grind.
And not only is it a ton of games, but the word from the bowlers so far is that these oil patterns have been tweaked just enough to make things that much more challenging.
That's a great point, Rob. And speaking of oil patterns, let's take a look at our Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood. This is a special oil pattern designed specifically for the Motor City Open. 44 feet in length. Anytime you think of length on oil patterns, the longer it goes down the lane towards the head pin, the more the players are going to play in the center part of the lane, and that's exactly what we're seeing early on by Tommy Jones and Bill O'Neill. You can see how it looks to be a little bit crowned, but the outside part of the lane is pretty much out of play.
Second strike for O'Neill in the opening 3 frames. Up now, Tommy Jones. Open frame in the first, strike in the second, down 11. Back-to-back jacks for TJ, and man, what a crazy position round Friday night over at Taylor Lanes. Walter Ray Williams Jr., Chris Barnes tied going into the position round. Walter Ray won, so he's the top seed. Barnes 2. PDW was locked in the third. Then it got funky.
Yeah, then it got real crazy. Tommy Jones is in 8th, bowling Eugene McCune. He bowls 300 and goes from 8th to 4th. The final spot, the 5th spot, O'Neill and Rhino Page are going head-to-head. They actually tie the last game. They have a 1-game roll-off. O'Neill beats Rhino Page to get the last spot.
So now we begin the 4th. Tommy Jones working on a pair of strikes. Oof, 2-4-8.
2-4-8. That's pretty good.
Well, judging by that reaction, he really liked that shot. You can see it was only 0.2 of a mile/hour faster. Normally when a professional likes it off his hand, it's a good shot. Right now, Tommy Jones has to decipher the oil pattern in front of him.
Sharp pickup by TJ. When we return, Bill O'Neill steps up in the bottom of the 4th with an early lead. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, welcoming you back to match number 1 of the Motor City Open. Bill O'Neill taking on Tommy Jones. We pick this up. O'Neill, bottom of the 6th, up 14. Three, 6, 7, 10.
Good ball speed, but this ball is left of target by 2 boards. And on this oil pattern, just not enough oil in the middle to hold that ball on line.
Open frame for O'Neill while we were gone. This is Bill in the fourth. He went 9 spare and then 8 spare in the fifth. Tommy Jones in the fifth. His third strike of the match. And in the sixth, open frame, which is what O'Neal just had in the sixth as well. Oh. So now here's O'Neal in the seventh. Oh, the late tap.
A little leaner. Show that python. Show that python, Billy. This is going to be a half-pocket 10-pin. The 6-pin's going to go to the sidewall. It's going to stand up. Then it's just going to lean right on the 10-pin.
Looking lean, baby. Looking lean. Fourth strike of this match for Jones.
Well, there's Tommy Jones' 7th frame. And this is what he's done on the right lane. This is a lane that he's been very successful on. You see about the 24th board. But this is the trouble lane, the left lane. You can see he's playing it much wider than he is on the right lane. A good 2 boards at the arrows and a good 3 boards down the lane. And again, the same result. The left lane has confused Tommy Jones throughout this entire match.
So just like that, Jones staring his second open frame. In the last 3 frames, he's bowled. So 132 through 8 for Jones.
Nice pick from the left lane.
Our Flomax Weekly Update focuses in on that man and his season in 08 and 09. 7 TV appearances, 0 titles, but the second highest average in the PBA, just a shade under 223.
Well, Bill O'Neal, with just a slim lead, the last thing that he wants to see is a big split. Gets very fortunate there to only leave the 4-pin. A spare here, he will remain 10 pins ahead of Tommy Jones.
So we move to the foundation frame 9th. O'Neal up 10. O'Neal telling me he's been working out with the trainer this offseason, working on his core and leg strength, getting better shape. And I said, hey, man, is it for the bowling or is it to get into the wedding tuxedo, right? He's getting married to that young lady, Christy White, coming up May of next year. I said, a little both. Get them all!
Nice break there. And with that strike in the 9th frame, Bill O'Neal can strike out to shoot 202. The best Tommy Jones can do right now is 192.
O'Neal has struggled the last 3 frames, but it's been on the left lane. Here he is on the right lane in the 9th. Oof, and the struggles move to the right.
3, 4, 6, 10, just when it looked like Tommy Jones had that right lane figured out, goes right through the nose. And this is what's happening because of, in my opinion, what he's been doing on the left lane. He's afraid to get it just a little bit wide and leaving another 2, 4, 8, 10 combination. Instead, he gets it going up the lane just a bit, right through the nose, pays the price.
Back-to-back open frames.
You don't see that very often,
No.
taking the 6-pin out of the 3, 6, 10.
Well, we know what kind of competitor Tommy Jones is, and I think you and I can both realize what kind of mood he's in right now.
It doesn't matter what we do. We can play jacks, we can play PlayStation, we can play cards, we can play cornhole. It doesn't matter. I don't want to lose. And if I lose, I'm not going to be happy about it, and I'm going to be pretty bitter for a little while. I'm a terrible loser.
Well, maybe too little too late for Tommy Jones. He makes a ball change here in the 10th frame.
Oh, boy.
Not a whole lot he can do about it now. Bill O'Neill,
Have no chance.
with any markers in the 180s, Tommy Jones can only shoot 169. Very unusual grip. He puts his thumb in first, kind of corkscrews it in there, puts his fingers in last. Last player to do that with great success out on this tour, David Houston.
Finishing strong here on the left lane. O'Neill in great position to move on to take on Pete Weber in our next match, the 3 seed.
This is the toughest part about a one-game match. You better guess right coming out of practice going into that match. If you don't, this is what happens. Tommy Jones chose a different piece of equipment. Now he's going to sit back tonight and wonder what if he would have started with that ball.
Nothing but strikes in the 10th. He finishes with a 169. O'Neill needs 9 for the win. How about 10?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
So O'Neill will move on. Up next for the real deal, PDW. Match number 2 when we return to Detroit. We welcome you back. ESPN's continuing coverage of the Motor City Open. Time now for a WSOB quick tip with Randy.
Dave from Carleton, Michigan writes in, he wants to know, Randy, what can I do to control my backswing? Well, Dave, it's simple. Your backswing is predicated on what you do with your push away. If you push the ball to the right, the ball's going to swing behind you. We don't want that because it creates a wraparound move. If you push the ball straight in front of that right shoulder, it's going to create a nice straight arm swing. And a little bit to the inside will create a West Malott, Walter Ray, little figure 8. Seems to work real well for them. Maybe you should try it.
Not a bad idea, right? But it works for those guys. Emulate them, right? Ready for match number 2. Bill O'Neill, a 201-169 winner over Tommy Jones to take on the number 3 seed, Pete Weber. O'Neill from Levittown, Pennsylvania, to start us off.
Right away, he opens up with a ball change and still playing the center part of the lane. Boy, I'll tell you, the only thing missing on the resume of Bill O'Neill is that victory, that one win that still eludes him. And speaking of backswings,
Yeah, here comes Pete Weber and his 34 Lumber Liquidator PBA Tour titles. The native of St. Anne, Missouri, PDW. Trademark shades on. He's just a couple years away from that senior tour as well. Maybe him and Walter Ray can start teaming up again out there. Here's a little bit more on the son of the late, great Dick Weber. PDW, in his 30th year here on the PBA Tour, has won 34 tour titles. Being from St. Louis, he's an avid Cardinals and Rams fan. Also enjoys golf, hockey, baseball, and basketball. So both O'Neill and Weber drop the 10 pin to pick up a 9 spare in the first frame. And we want to remind you, next Sunday, 1 Eastern on ESPN, it is the Cheetah Show, and we're presenting it in a documentary-type fashion. Take you behind the scenes, through the whole tournament, where the guys are, what they're doing in the downtime, hearing from them after the match. Really a fascinating show you're going to want to watch as we begin the second.
And right there, you can really see the difference between the right and left lane. Pete Weber using 2 different bowling balls. Right, their left lane looks like it's got a bit more friction to it. The players are a little bit deeper on that lane. Nice result there. Good choice to start for Pete Weber.
O'Neill leaves the 4 pin.
Bill O'Neill playing both lanes fairly close. 22nd, almost the 23rd board on the left lane. 23.5 board on the right lane.
And he gets the same result on both lanes, a 9 spare. O'Neill, a 4-time first-team All-American in Michigan at Saginaw Valley State University. 3-time Bowling Writers Association of America Collegiate Bowler of the Year. And you saw him take down Tommy Jones in match number 1. 5 seed trying to get all the way to the title match to take on Walter Ray Williams Jr. That'll help.
Almost 20 miles an hour. I think it's important to point out again that all the qualifying was done at Taylor Lanes. The TV show was then moved to Thunder Bowl. Even though they're putting down the same oil pattern, it's being put down on 2 different surfaces. So the players do have to make adjustments coming into TV day.
Weber's made an adjustment, and he did it early, using 2 different balls. Two in a row for Weber, and here is PDW on his relationship with his late legendary dad.
We had a nice rivalry on the bowling lane. I'm here to win, you're here to win, so give me your best shot. And I mean, that's the way we did everything. I mean, if we were playing a game of wiffle ball in the backyard, Dad ain't gonna slack off on us. If we're down playing pool or ping pong, if we wanted to win, we had to win. So, I mean, he didn't let us win, he made us win.
According to PDW, he was 28-2 versus his old man.
Pretty good record against Dick Weber.
3 in a row for Weber now. So PDW up 21 on the real deal, Bill O'Neill. Can he maintain it? Match number 2 continues when we return to Detroit. The World Series of Bowling rolls on from Detroit. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson here with you as we continue our coverage of match number 2 of the Motor City Open. While we were gone, O'Neill found his groove, a strike in the 4th, dropping to 7 late, and then in the 5th, boom, that made it 3 in a row for Pete Weber. Working on a 3-bagger, looking for 4, and he would convert that. But then trouble in the 6th. Pocket split would result in his first open frame.
Yep, another couple good breaks for me right there.
The king of sarcasm.
Really bad breaks if you look at it. Pete Weber goes solid 9 on a 3-bagger, follows it up with a 4-9 split. Well, Bill O'Neill gets up and puts a couple of strikes together.
Bottom of the 6th, O'Neill up 13. Four-bagger.
Sorry, Rob, what did you say?
4-bagger? Right? That's good,
call,
right?
Good call. Hey, let's take a look at how Bill O'Neill's playing the lanes here. About the 24th board at the arrows. Ball speed at around 19.5 miles an hour. You can see what kind of angle he's playing. Better have some hand to get it back playing those lines there. Now they're calling Yahtzee.
I love
Where
it.
do they get
I
this
love
stuff
it.
from?
I've brainwashed these people. They're fantastic. I love Detroit. So a 10-pin shy of Yahtzee. O'Neal starting to spread his wings a little bit here and pull away from the legend PDW.
And he's taken advantage of some bad breaks by Pete Weber.
Make it go one. Come on.
Let's see if he can rebound from the last two shots where he went solid 9, pocket 4-9 on a 3-bagger. He's not out of this match. He still has the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th to get back. If he strikes out, he could shoot 246.
This is the second time in his 30-year career he made the TV show in the first tournament of the year. So he has to be upbeat that he's getting off to a good start, although he's struggling right now. Oh, whoa. And here is PDW on his TV troubles last season.
Well, yes, I have had problems bowling on TV lately in the last couple of years. Maybe last year more than any. But just for some reason, I've been getting nervous right before the TV show, but now I'm a little bit pissed that I haven't won in 2 years, and I've got a totally new attitude when it comes to TV this year. It's be kill or be killed, and I'm going out there and giving it all. I'm not playing this scared stuff anymore. I'm going out on the shows, and I'm going to bowl like I know how to bowl.
Man on a mission. He hasn't won on TV since March 4th of 07 when he won the 64th U.S. Open.
Perfect.
See if Bill O'Neal can now take advantage of another open frame by Pete Weber in the 7th. Bang! Pretty shot there.
5th strike of this match for the real deal.
Check out the form of Bill O'Neal from floor level. A perfect result.
Trying to continue from that 5-seed spot is O'Neal. That'll help. So 2 in a row as he sits down to watch Weber in the 9th.
You want to talk about some sick ball speed numbers for Bill O'Neal? How about 6th, 7th, and 8th and 9th frame? 19.3, 19.4, 19.4, 19.4. You want to be a player out here? Learn how to control ball speed.
So now 2 in a row for Weber as he tries to make a late charge. Cuts the deficit to 34. Got to finish strong in the 10th here, Pete.
Well, his only chance of striking out, he can shoot 224. Bill O'Neal's already in the 230s. He would have to open in the 10th frame to give Weber any type of shot.
And O'Neal has been clean through 9. There's a 3-bagger for Weber. But he's not in the mood to celebrate, is he?
No, he's still thinking about the solid 9, the 4-9 he left back-to-back, and then that big 4 was the real killer. Big 4 he left in the 7th frame.
Now he gets dialed in.
Show up. Gotta show up.
No gimmies. That's what Pete wanted. He wanted to get up and finish strong
Lousy shot.
to make Bill O'Neal show up in the 10th frame.
Full price for it, too.
He's
Break it
still
up.
talking about the 7th frame in the big 4.
Yep.
Right on.
Closes with 5 in a row to conclude
One bad shot.
match 2 with a 224.
One bad shot.
Not happy. Guy's an animal.
And that is all she wrote. So O'Neal with the victory over Pete Weber, waiting in the wings. 2 years ago, he just happened to be Player of the Year, Chris Barnes. It will not be an easy task, the winner, to take on Walter Ray Williams, Jr. Detroit is a bowling town, home to a huge number of bowlers and bowling centers, the most historic being Thunder Bowl Lanes, the site of the World Series of Bowling. Thunder Bowl was built in the early 60s as the home for the Detroit Thunderbirds of the then newly formed National Bowling League. Nearly 40 years later, Thunder Bowl was home to the 2009 World Series of Bowling. Original Detroit Thunderbird Eddie Labansky was on hand to throw out the first ball for an event that has drawn hundreds of pros from around the world. And the fans have turned out, not only to see the stars of the PBA, but those of the NFL as well. Former Pittsburgh Steeler and Detroit native Jerome Bettis was here to take part in a pro-am.
Been bowling for a long time, since I was 7 years old, and it was something that I loved to do, and I had to make a decision in high school whether I was going to continue bowling or play football. Well, I think I made the right decision.
Yeah, I think so.
and started to play football, but bowling has still been a love of mine since I was a child.
And it appears Bettis isn't the only one who feels that way in the Motor City, which is why Detroit is the perfect choice to host this year's World Series of Bowling. The PBA Versatility Swing continues next week. The winners of all the animal pattern shows will qualify for the PBA Experience Showdown, presented by Bowl.com, and you can see it on ESPN next spring, April 11th. Cheetah, Viper, Chameleon, Scorpion, and Shark. When we return, it is our semifinal showdown. The real deal, Bill O'Neal still trying to find his first tour title, taking on Chris Barnes.
And for the first time ever in PBA history, we're going to introduce the inside angle during competition where we can talk to the players directly. Today, that person will be Chris Barnes. Hey, folks, a quick tip for the better players on how to be more versatile, how to play the outside part of the lane and the inside part of the lane. Try this. You're going to play the outside part of the lane. You're going to go real straight. Try to push that ball a little bit to the right. That's going to get your body to walk a little right, and it's going to keep that swing in real tight, and it's going to keep it from going to the right. Now, when you move to the inside part of the lane and you're really trying to throw the big rainbow, what you want to do is push that ball in, have that arm swing come out away from you. That's going to force the feet to walk a bit left. You're going to create a little bit of a figure eight, and you're going to be able to hook the entire lane. Try this. I guarantee you'll become more versatile.
And if I don't become more versatile, what do I get?
You could just keep doing what you're doing.
Keep being a bad bowler?
Yeah.
Time now for match number 3, our semifinal. Bill O'Neal taking on the 2 seed, Chris Barnes. Oh, the late kick. O'Neal a 201-169 winner over Tommy Jones, and then in the last match he had 8 strikes, 2 sets of handbones, and a 257-224 win over Pete Weber.
2 4-baggers?
I said 2 handbones, didn't I?
2 4-baggers?
Yep, 2 handbones it was. Here's Barnes in the first.
Okay.
Whoa! Missing the head pin. Take a look at Barnes' effort there. And Barnes told me his objective here at the World Series of Bowling to stockpile as many shows as possible. Here's Chris on last season.
Last season was kind of a tale of 2 cities almost. The first half was really a struggle. I made the first show, but I still don't know how. Didn't bowl well at all the next 7 weeks. Was never really particularly close to making a show. And then worked with Mark Baker a little bit, got things straightened out, and then made 7 shows in the second half, and maybe had my best stretch ever on the PBA tour. Came down, had a couple of shots, and maybe one 8-pin cost me a U.S. Open and a Player of the Year. So there's some positives and some negatives to take back on it, but you know, the goal is to build on that season and make this season more of a no doubt Player of the Year season.
Made 8 telecasts last season, tied with Wes Malott for the tour lead. Malott, your Player of the Year.
And Rob, that looked like a much better shot on the left lane. It looked like he forced it on the right lane. Chris, a very heavy rolling player. And a lot of times when he plays that deep inside line, he struggles. He needs to learn how to tip it just a little bit more. But you know what? Let's ask Chris himself what's going on with the oil pattern. Chris, what do you see with the lanes and how they're breaking down out there?
Well, the guys playing in earlier took a little while for it to develop. It looks like it's getting a little bit better for them, but right now I'm still not seeing it the right way.
Barnes open frame and a spare so far. Here's O'Neill working off an opening strike.
Come on, stay aggressive. Jesus. Stay aggressive. Come on.
A little high, 3-6-10.
Well, you hear Bill O'Neill saying stay aggressive. He wants to keep his ball speed up to keep it on line. Just gets a little soft with that shot. Goes through the nose, only leaving the 3-6-10. When I say only, it could have been a lot worse.
Oh, God. Didn't like it. Takes care of the 3, leaves the 6-10.
We saw Tommy Jones miss that exact same spare in the first match against Bill O'Neill. Never gets it far enough to the right and chops the 3-pin right off the 6-10.
This will be a good test for O'Neill. He's had some problems on TV. He gets there, and then kind of his mind sometimes gets in the way every once in a while when he hits a roadblock. So here he is, a strike and then an open frame. What can he do here in the 3rd? Big strike there for O'Neill. He said earlier he loves to compete versus Walter Ray, but who are his idols?
When I was growing up, it was Pete Weber. I love watching him bowl. I mean, I just loved his intensity and everything about him on TV was great. Now that I'm out here, Chris Barnes is the person I look up to the most. He gives me a lot of advice, and just watching him and just how versatile he is and just how good he is just a standard I like to set myself to.
Here is Barnes, bottom of the 3rd. Again, leaves the 10.
And what a big move Chris Barnes just made. Does not like the look from the inside part of the lane. And according to our Cats numbers, he's moved a good 20 boards to the right. Started off at about the 27th board. That last shot, the 7th board. That's a big, big move.
And Barnes still in pursuit of his first strike. Said he spent the offseason working a lot on some balance issues, some physical triggers that have gotten in his way in some of those TV shows. There's his first strike.
And there's the versatility that Bill O'Neill's talking about. Being able to play the deep inside line and then all of a sudden moving 20 boards to the right and going as straight as an arrow. That takes talent. You've got to be committed to the change.
So Barnes gets his first strike and pulls himself back into this match. The conclusion of our semifinal tilt between O'Neill and Barnes when we return to Detroit. We welcome you back. Our continuing coverage of the World Series of Bowling. It's the Motor City Open semifinals. Right now, Bill O'Neill still in pursuit of his first ever Lumber Liquidators PBA title. The number 5 seed with 2 wins already, trying to dispatch number 2 seed Chris Barnes. And he strikes in the 6th. While we were paying bills, O'Neill an open frame in the 4th. And then in the 5th, leaves the 10-pin Single pin spare, steps up and picks that. Oh, no, he didn't. Can't give Chris Barnes an opening like that. Here is Barnes in the 5th. Guess what he did? He had an open frame as well. In the 6th, he bounced back with a 9 spare. So both guys below where they figured they would be. But again, Randy, we've talked. These oil patterns have been kind of ratcheted up a couple levels.
And there's the adjustment for Bill O'Neill, going to a different bowling ball and backing up the 2 open frames with a double. Take a look at the numbers for Bill O'Neill from match number 1 to match number 2. You can see that he's trying to stay in the general vicinity in between 4th and 5th arrow. And what he's done is he's just changed equipment. Keeping the ball speed up, changing equipment, keeping that same line.
Strike for Barnes, just his 2nd of the match, and Barnes widely considered to be the best bowler in the world.
Well, it's flattering if guys think that I'm the best player in the world. Shockingly, they don't really tell me that. But, you know, I've worked hard, and I followed in the footsteps of the guys in front of me. It's been pretty obvious since I came on tour that versatility is a big key to being successful. And so whether you watch the Norm Dukes, the Walter Rays, the guys that have been successful for 20 years do a lot of different things. And so each year I just try and pick up something that one of these guys does a lot better than I do and try and get better at it.
Back-to-back jacks. Barnes telling me earlier his goals for the season, 4 wins, and I love this, the No Doubt Player of the Year award.
Let's take a look at the big move that Chris Barnes made early on. I mean, if you look at his laydown in the first frame, his laydown was at the 37.5 board. Remember, there's only 39 boards on the lane. He went from that to laying the ball down at the 10th board. Gigantic move.
Uno dos tray for O'Neill. Cuts the deficit to 3.
O'Neill hanging around. Again, there's that ball change, staying in, playing that deep inside line that he's comfortable with, that he's had success with all day. Looking to take the lead right here in the 9th frame. Looking for a 4-bagger.
See what the 2 can max out at.
You just hit me.
Hard. Blows up everything but the 10.
Pretty good shot there. Kept the ball in play, hits the pocket, only to leave a flat 10. Maybe just a pinch wide. Remember, he missed a 10-pin earlier in the 5th frame.
Hey, hooray. Nice spare.
Doesn't miss that single spare.
Did he just get down on himself right there?
A little bit.
Okay.
And again, want to remind you, next week we're back here at Thunder Bowl for the Cheetah Championship. We present it in an interesting fashion. I'm really looking forward to this show, a documentary type look at the Cheetah Championship, behind the scenes, exclusive interviews. It's really entertaining. And then the following week, Sunday, November 15th at 1 Eastern, it is the Viper Championship. And on that show, the return of the women's series, Rhino Page will be bowling, as will somebody you're going to want to keep your eye on out this season, Ryan Simonelli. Here is Barnes, bottom of the 9th, working on a 2-bagger. Shaking your head right away, weren't you?
Well, it looked left out of his hand the whole way, and steady. So sensitive out that part of the lane. I mean, that's no man's land, and you better be accurate. A nice break there, only leaving the 3-pin. But Chris Barnes had a chance right there to put Bill O'Neill away. Let's see if he lets him off the hook.
Flawless on single pin spares this week, and that continues. So the 3 of them over the course of the last 3 frames have been identical. Strike, strike, 9 spare.
All right, here's the situation. Chris Barnes leading by 3 can strike out in the 10th frame and shut out Bill O'Neill. Anything less, Bill O'Neill can get up in the 10th and win.
Double wood, 2-8.
And fortunate the 10 pin's not standing with it. Chris Barnes needs to make this, fill the 10th frame, and force Bill O'Neill to double. And it's amazing in one game how you take two players that shot 257 and 223, and that was O'Neill and Pete Weber, and all of a sudden players are struggling to shoot 200, and that's just all about oil transitioning and the oil pattern just breaking down. And that's a really good spare.
One of those tougher than it looks type spares. As his wife Linda and twin sons watch.
Strike here gives him 183. Bill O'Neill can strike out to shoot 192.
.183 it is for your 2 seed. Chris Barnes does not like it.
Well, that's a big shot, too, on his fill shot, because now that forces Bill O'Neill to double, because Bill O'Neill's down in count. If Chris would have gotten 8 on that fill shot, Bill O'Neill could have gone strike, spare, and won by 1 pin. So very big coming up with that strike on the fill. O'Neill needs 2 and 2 to win.
Barnes will move on to the title match versus Walter Ray Williams Jr. So O'Neill rolls out in the 10th.
Chris Barnes, a huge move you made from the first frame to the 3rd frame. Why the gutsy move to move 20 boards to the right?
Well, it was probably pretty big for me. I didn't have a whole lot from in there. Obviously, Bill didn't have much either. The right lane hook's a lot earlier. The left lane's tighter. I missed the early hook in the first frame, and then flat 10, I decided to get out of there. But the right didn't look a whole lot better for me. I'm going to have to figure something out for the next match.
Chris, we appreciate your time. Thank you. And it sets up a dream final to fire up the PBA season. Walter Ray Williams Jr. versus Chris Barnes for the 3rd time in a televised final. $25,000 and an exemption next year on the tour at stake as Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Chris Barnes get set to show down for our first title of the PBA season. Hard to imagine a better title match to start us off. And Chris Barnes as the 2 seed will start first.
Yeah, it's a nice season opener, isn't it? And yet another adjustment to start this match. Chris Barnes, what adjustment did you make from the last match to the title match?
I got a full swing with some surface on it. It pins in the middle of my grip, so it evens it out so I can throw it right a little bit faster. Hopefully it creates a little bit of hold for me.
Thank you, Chris.
So up now, 45-time titleist Walter Ray Williams Jr. from Ocala, Florida.
Seen this guy a few times.
It's always enjoyable to watch him. Leaves the 10. Time for a little bit more now on Walter Ray Williams Jr., the 6-time PBA Player of the Year, WRWJ, also a 6-time World Horseshoe Pitching Champion, even has a brand of horseshoes named after him called Deadeye. And Deadeye turned 50 on October 6th. 16 consecutive seasons with at least one title for WRWJ. As we take a look at our head-to-head matchup, $5.8 million in earnings combined between the two.
This guy's been so good for so long. Remember, his first Player of the Year award came back in 1986. And right now, he's playing his bread and butter line to the pocket.
The spare strike to open up for Walter Ray. Barnes working off a strike in the first. Back-to-back opening jacks for Barnes here in our title match. And the PBA is teaming up with Chris Barnes as well in support of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And now you can help this great cause. Head to PBA.com, click on the shop tab, and purchase a PBA towel. PBA will donate $1 from each sale to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. See his numbers from last season. Just missed out on Player of the Year honors.
Just a tremendous adjustment from the last match against Bill O'Neill to this match. He kind of got in between where he started, where he finished, made the right ball change, and he's throwing great shots.
So Barnes opens up with the triple. Spare strike so far for that man.
Oh, boy. God, was horrible. Wow.
That was well pulled. Left of target, had no chance to hold it its line.
Right.
See what Walter Ray did in match play as he defeated Chris Barnes in the position round to claim the #1 spot.
Walter Ray turned 50 on October 6th, and age not an obstacle for that man.
I'm the oldest exempt player on tour now, and I'm still pretty competitive. And being the career money leader, winner, and all that is great. But I'm still trying to win titles and bowl well out here, bowling with these younger guys, and keeps me on my toes, and hopefully I keep them on their toes.
Well, his daughter Rebecca Lynn helps keep him on his toes as well.
Better, come on.
Like that one, the second strike of the match. 20 pins separate these two massive talents in the PBA. Our conclusion of the Motor City Open when we return to Detroit. Barnes with an early lead over Walter Ray. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, back here with you for the conclusion of the Motor City Open. Chris Barnes, nothing but strikes. 3. Here's his effort in the 4th. World Series of Bowling rolls on from Allen Park, Michigan.
Hook a lot.
Did not hook a lot for him.
That shot there looked like he got started a little quick, and he just kind of flamed it right through the break point. Right now looking at a 278, which quite honestly, Rob, not the easiest spare to convert.
Taking his time with this one.
That's pretty good.
Lead at 17 for Barnes.
And this is what you have to do when you have that backwood, that sleeper, the 8-pin. You got to get the ball to drive the 2 into the 7, and the bowling ball covers the 8. He looks good. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. Just coming out of the commercial break, he kind of flames one, and you know what? On the scoreboard, it looks like 7 spare.
Another strike. So 4 strikes through 5 frames for Barnes as he takes a seat.
This is pretty good here. Notice how it doesn't go quite as far to the right. Better hand, better result.
Walter Ray telling me his goals this year, like to win a tournament and make 4 shows.
Come on, baby, come on. That's it.
There's a strike. When he's not on television, he goes technical on us. He uses a Palm Pilot to help track his progress.
There's a program called Frames, which is on my Palm Pilot, and it's a program that keeps track of the stats and stuff, and so I enter it while I'm in competition. The only time I don't do it is when I'm bowling on TV. But I do it all my competition, and I'll actually put score sheets on my website. A little behind right now, but hopefully I'll get caught up. But if you're really interested, you can go to my website, and I got all the score sheets go back like 2003 on there.
Hard to believe he would have enough time to do that. As busy a schedule as he has. See his wife Paige looking on. She knows how to add up the score. That's a 3-bagger for Walter Ray.
So Barnes, his lead now cut to 3 in the bottom of the 6th.
Hey, he's really been bouncing all over the lanes today and just showing off his versatility. Here's the line that he played against Bill O'Neill. You can see that that's pretty much in between the first and second arrow. But he only shot 183. He didn't like it. So he makes a ball change and moves into about the 3rd arrow, and all of a sudden, he's dialed in. And that's all about being versatile.
Clearly one of the most versatile bowlers on the tour. Looking for 3 in a row here in the 7th.
He liked that one. He got it a little bit wide, and it made the turn and kicks the 10 out. He really likes this one. Listen in.
So now Walter Ray will try and match him with a 3-bagger. Scratch that. Make this a potential ham bone for Walter Ray.
Oh, get right, get right, get right.
Didn't like it.
Thank you.
Ham bone! I'm sorry, it's Walter Ray. 4-bagger.
There you go.
He doesn't like that.
Hey, next Sunday, 1 o'clock. How about an inside look into the Cheetah Championship? Almost like a documentary.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Really good stuff.
Our crew has been working. I don't even want to know the man hours they have put into that show. So as a bowling fan, you are obligated to like the show.
That's right. We're calling you out.
And the Viper Championship coming your way Sunday, November 15th. Also from here in the Thunder Bowl in Allen Park, Michigan. Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the 8th. Drop that nickel.
Boy, this 5-bagger couldn't have come at a better time. Walter Ray takes the lead by 3. Chris Barnes steps up in the 8th frame. He's working on a 3-bagger. We've got a great match. 2 of the best bowlers the sport has ever known. Wow, no emotion after throwing that. Right now, biggest shot of the match, 9th frame, working on 4 in a row. Can extend his lead to 17 and set up the 10th frame.
No! Right through the nose.
Boy, it looked like that shot was online, but it just checked early on him. He may have grabbed it just a little bit at the bottom, but watch the ball. It doesn't push far enough to the right, and goes right through the nose, leaving the 3-6-9-10.
You do not want an open frame in the 9th versus Walter Ray Williams Jr. Oh. And it's what Barnes hands off to WRWJ, missing the 10.
Really?
Well, you can see what Chris tries to do here. He tries to spin this to get it to push just a little bit to the right, and it looks real good. And right at the last second, it just snaps a bit hard left, chopping the 10. Now Walter Ray firmly in the driver's seat, leads by 9, working on a 5-bagger.
Will not be 6.
But I think that's one of the things that has made him so great throughout his career is when he gets an opening from his opponent, he just steps on their throats and really puts the pressure on him. He threw a great shot there. Look at the disappointment when leaving the ring in 10.
I was talking with Rhino Page earlier this tournament, saying how he loves how the vets will always give that disgusted look when they throw a ball. How is that not a strike? And that was a classic one from Walter Ray. He thought he had all 10.
Yeah, it's almost like, how dare you? Do you not know who I am? I'm Walter Ray. I'm a millionaire.
A couple times over.
That's right. All right, let me set the stage for you. Chris Barnes can strike out to shoot 241. Walter Ray can strike out to shoot 249.
Advantage Williams.
You are so quick.
I was always good at math.
Tugged the whole way, and he knows it. He also knows that he now has a problem because Chris Barnes can get up in the 10th frame and win this.
Needs to pick this one up, though. And he does.
Walter Ray doesn't miss seven.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, how many times?
Remember? Well, yeah, we saw it in the summer series, and
Okay, one time.
I think I lost my bladder and my larynx. I know it doesn't happen, but hey, man, these things stumble on you every once in a while. Final shot in the 10th for Walter Ray.
Yeah, don't go like that.
Gets them all to drop. So he will watch Barnes try and top his 238.
Barnes needs a double and 8. Anything less, Walter Ray wins sitting on the bench.
Needs this strike. And doesn't get the 7. D for done. Another title for the Legends.
Boy, the last 2 shots just broke loose for Chris Barnes. Just when it looked like he was locked in, the last 2 shots in the 9th and 10th go high, and ultimately end up costing him a title.
That one is going to stick in the craw of Barnes.
Yeah, baby.
At number 46 for that man. Time now for our Geico Championship recap.
This is Walter Ray putting together a 5-bagger.
Walter Ray would go on to win it 238 to 230 over Chris Barnes. Barnes had the opportunity to close out in the 10th, needing a strike, and the first shot gets none. So Walter Ray Williams Jr. wins career title number 46. And now here's Randy with our winner.
How are you able to stay so competitive for so long?
I'm really not sure why. I mean, I figured when I was in my 20s I'd be retired by I was 40, and you know, it just like every year it was like 2 more years, and it's like I still feel pretty decent and bowled pretty well, and I'm just, it's just unbelievable to win again. You never know when it's going to be your last one, and bowling against Chris is one of the best players ever, and he had a good reaction out there. I had a good reaction, and I got a couple good breaks there at the end there, and wow.
Congratulations on number 46. By the way, I'll have what he's having.
Next week here on ESPN, it's our exclusive coverage of the Cheetah Championship next Sunday, November 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern. For Randy Peterson and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. Walter Ray takes number 46 in Detroit.